Why is it that dismissive avoidants tend to discard people or suddenly leave relationships, particularly when they are stressed? Because this is a big pattern everybody knows. The answer to this question is not going to be what you think, but we're going to dive into it so you understand it at a root cause. And in order to get there, I first have to explain something to you called co-regulation. What is co-regulation? It is something, number one, that all mammals do. It is essentially that individuals and their nervous systems sort of harmonize with each other, and their brain and nervous system are reading the state of another person, taking on cues of how calm or stressed that person is, and taking in information about their microexpressions, their body language, their tone of voice, and then basically in training with that messaging. For example, if you have a young child who's constantly around a very stressed out parent, that young child is going to take on those cues and the understanding of that person's stress, and they are often going to mirror or mimic that person's body language, whether or not they are even consciously aware of it. And essentially, they're in training with that person's nervous system. They're taking on that stress because they're going to mirror those cues, internalize those things, and then take on that stress accordingly. Now, all mammals do this. We are literally wired to do this. And it is part of how we've evolved in tribes and around multiple people and how we learn to sort of sustain relationships in society. But essentially, co-regulation is a continuous unfolding of individual action that is susceptible being modified by somebody else. Okay, so you've all seen this, and this is really going to apply to dismissive avoidance, but you've seen this. If you've ever been in a dynamic where you've been around a group of people who are sad or upset, eventually you're likely to take some of that on, even if you're really good with boundaries. Now, it's necessary for mammals, literally, to co-regulate. And that's part of why we need to see the faces of other people and attune to people. It's a survival skill that we're literally biologically wired for. And children in their own childhood, they literally look to their caregivers to decide and essentially decipher how stressed or how safe they should feel. You probably, again, looking back on your own childhood, have seen this. If you co-regulated with somebody who was highly stressed, it can entrain your nervous system to essentially build a subconscious comfort zone around being highly stressed. Be familiar. You've probably seen people, if you grew up with anxious parents, you may randomly have anxiety as an adult because through repetition of exposure to these anxious cues you're getting and internalizing and in training with, that's actually wiring you subconsciously to be more likely to experience some of those things. Here's what's really interesting. This is where we're going to get back to dismissive avoidance. Dismissive avoidance were often missing healthy representation of the next step of co-regulation. So we're around people, our nervous system's naturally entrained with each other, but then we have behavioral co-regulation, which is beyond the entrainment. And behavioral co-regulation is a healthy and necessary ingredient of all secure relationships. And what behavioral co-regulation is that when you see somebody stressed and you pick up on those cues, you're in training with that person, you slightly modify your behavior to help soothe them and bring their stress levels down. For example, if you're a child and you come home from school one day and you're stressed out and your parent notices that stress and is attuned to you, then they might go to you and say, "Hey, honey, are you okay? What's going on?" And they'll try to meet your needs or offer, in the very least, their presence, their attunement, their emotional support to help you feel more regulated. And just the fact that somebody sees you and is there with you in those moments is very profound in its ability to help you regulate. But guess what? Dismissive avoidance didn't get co-regulation. So you know how dismissive avoidance regulate? Through things, through objects, through creature comforts. How many times have you seen dismissive avoidants who are doing things like, oh, they spend all this time cleaning their car, or they play video games for hours, or they binge watch television, or they have these sort of hobbies that they go to all the time? It's usually because those activities help them regulate when they didn't learn to regulate with and through people. Because A, it wasn't modeled to them. Nobody was really doing a good enough job of entraining with them and their nervous system and helping them then feel seen and attuned to and supported when they were distressed. On top of that, dismissive avoidance learned that their attachment strategy had to be to take up as little space as possible emotionally to be worthy of attachment. They felt like if they were expressing emotion, it was shamed, dismissed, denied, rejected. So they were like, okay, my attachment strategy, and you literally see this with children in attachment studies in their childhood, their attachment strategy becomes to just not really need anybody. So they're not a burden. So they're then accepted. And so they're like, okay, I'm going to take up as little space as possible. I'm not going to express my emotions. I'm not going to learn how to co-regulate. So why do you think it is that when a dismissive avoidant gets stressed, they push people away? Because they already presume that their emotional stress will be a burden to others and will lead to them being shamed, seen as defective, denied. And further to that, dismissive avoidants also believe that if they take up too much space or they try to co-regulate with anybody and they try to share their emotional burdens with other people, it's not going to work anyways because it didn't work for them in childhood. So the more stressed a dismissive avoidant is, the less emotional bandwidth they have. And now we have these three reasons that they discard people when they're stressed. And I'm not saying it's okay, right? Obviously, it's not healthy to discard people when we're stressed. That's so sad. We're going to get into that. But what you're going to see here is that dismissive avoidance, they don't know how to co-regulate. They learn to re-regulate on their own. So now if they're, walloped with stress, they're like, I need to get as far away from everybody because nobody helps me co-regulate. I just take on stress around other people and then train with them, but don't get anything back. They assume that, even if it's not true and partners are showing up and trying. So they're like, I need to re-regulate separate from everybody else, number one. Number two, they actually assume that if they did try to regulate, they would be shamed for it anyways. Deep subconscious program, not necessarily something they're consciously aware of, because consciously they would actually be able to logically evaluate and say, oh, somebody would try to be there for me. But it feels highly uncomfortable for them because their subconscious believes, according to past conditioned experiences, that it's not going to go that way anyways. And so the third thing that happens is they're like, I literally need to control my environment and get away from people so that I can come back to myself and maybe deal with some of this stress. And they also believe that they're not really going to be a good fit for anybody in a relationship if they're not feeling in a good space. So we have these three underlying factors that cause them when they're stressed to feel this immense need to pull away that's not healthy. And the root out of this is not to keep pulling away from people. It's how we keep sabotaging relationships if you're an avoidant. And if you're on the receiving end of this, it's very painful and confusing. And it's also not the answer to try to sit through and wait for this person to not be stressed anymore and then come back to them. Because dismissive avoidants love to pre-disqualify themselves. They'll leave somebody, then feel guilty about it, tell themselves a story they're not worthy of a relationship and they can't do it and why bother. And then even if you try to come back to them, they usually have too much shame for leaving in that state and not being able to handle a healthy relationship is a lot of the stories they tell themselves. So they're not going to come back and reinvest because they feel too ashamed, and shame makes us want to protect and hide ourselves. And so dismissive avoidants obviously need to learn how to co-regulate. That's the answer to this. I have a lot of, materials on this channel over the past 3 years, but I will put a free webinar link down below if you want to dive into co-regulation in a much deeper way. But if you are the loved one of a dismissive avoidant, you also probably are struggling to co-regulate in your own way, which is part of why you are attracted to investing in people who don't co-regulate back with you. But while dismissive avoidants don't know how to ask for co-regulation, other attachment styles like fearful avoidance and anxious attachment styles don't know how to receive co-regulation. They give and they give it, and they don't know how to receive it. And so there's this really interesting dynamic here at play. But if you want to dig deeper, check out that webinar. It's fully for free for a limited time. It comes with a free course for life called How to Repair Any Relationship. It helps you decide if a relationship is worth repairing and then the exact steps to do so. Fully free, and that course is literally a gift for free for life. And I hope these resources are really helpful for you. Let me know in the comments if you've been through this, been challenged with this. And I'm here to literally put out daily videos on YouTube to help you understand these things, to not take them personally, but most importantly, how to rewire them. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.